Very good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss with the osteology of the skull with Norma Basilis view. Actually, Norma Basilis view is the study of a skull by inferior aspect by removing the mandibles. If you used to see in a Norma Basilis view, there are for the convenience we have divided the Norma Basilis view into three parts. That is anterior 1/3, middle 1/3 and posterior 1/3 is. Then again middle 1/3 is divisible into two parts, that is a median part and the right and left lateral parts. And again the posterior part or the posterior 1/3 is again divisible into two parts, that is a median part and right and left lateral part. This is the common basic concept. So in this lecture we will discuss about the what are the structures present, what are the foramens present and what the structures passes. So introduction to Norma Basilis. Study of a cranium skull by removing the mandible from inferior aspect is called Norma Basilis view. So you are seeing that this is a complete view that you are seeing. This complete view is called Norma Basilis view. So this is completely, this one is called Norma Basilis view. So this complete part is. This is the Norma Basilis that we will study in this. The boundaries of Norma Basilis. Anteriorly, the Norma Basilis is bounded by incisors teeth. So this is the anterior boundary. Then posteriorly by superior nuchal lines. So this is the posterior margin that you are seeing. Then by both sides or laterally by the rest of the teeth present. Then zygomatic arch that you are seeing as well complete. Then posterior root of a zygoma and mastoid process. So this complete area that you are seeing, this used to be forms the Norma Basilis view is. Subdivisions of Norma Basilis. The hard palate and alveolar arch are included in the anterior part. An imaginary horizontal line passing through the anterior margin of foramen magnum that separates the posterior part from middle part of the Norma Basilis. So if you used to draw one horizontal line from the posterior margin of the alveolar arch and used to draw second horizontal line from that is touching the anterior margin of the condyles, occipital condyles. Now this you are seeing that part the present, this is the anterior horizontal line, this is the posterior horizontal line. So part anterior to that of anterior horizontal line that used to call as the anterior part of Norma Basilis view. Now here is the this is the middle part of the Norma Basilis view and this is the posterior part of the Norma Basilis view. In other words, we can divide it into the anterior 1/3, middle 1/3 and posterior 1/3 is. So for proper and detailed study of Norma Basilis, it is divided into three parts, that is the anterior 1/3 part, this is from here, it is anterior 1/3 and middle 1/3 part and posterior 1/3 part. So anterior 1/3 from here to here, middle 1/3 and posterior 1/3 is. Now anterior part of Norma Basilis view. First one is posterior border of hard palate. So this is you are seeing here, this is the posterior border of the hard palate. Next, it forms the junction of anterior and middle part of Norma Basilis view. This is the junction point. Then posterior nasal spine is the spinous projection, forms its middle in a median plane. So if you to see, here is the posterior spine projection is present. This posterior spine projection that is present in a median plane. So it is a spinous projection present, and then musculus ubuli is attached to the posterior nasal spine. So here is, this is the posterior nasal spine, that musculus ubuli muscle is found to be attached. So anterior part of Norma Basilis, alveolar arch. It possesses sockets for the roots of upper teeth. Number of sockets depends upon the number of teeth. So this is the alveolar arch is present and that occupies the roots of the bones contributing to the hard palate. Palatine process of the two maxilla contributes to anterior 2/3 of the hard palate, whereas posterior 1/3 of the hard palate is formed by horizontal plate of the palatine bone. Bony palate is marked by several depressions produced by palatine glands. Incisive fossa. This is the incisive fossa. So it is present anteriorly in a median plane of the hard palate. Incisive foramen, right and left, pierces its corresponding side. Each incisive foramen is transversed by nasopalatine nerve and greater palatine vessel. So here is this is the incisive fossa present anteriorly. Greater palatine foramina. It is present behind the lateral part of palato-maxillary suture. The greater palatine vessels and nerves passes through it. Lesser palatine foramina. These are 1 to 3 foramina in a pyramidal process of palatine bone and located just behind the greater palatine foramen on each side. Lesser palatine nerves and vessels passes through these foramina. So now comes to the middle part of norma basilis view. For the sake of convenience, it is divided into two parts. One median part, this is the median part, and the two lateral parts, right and left lateral parts is there. So this is the anterior horizontal line, this is posterior horizontal line. In between to that, there is the middle part of norma basilis view is present. For the convenience, it is divisible into median and the two right and left lateral parts are there. So now middle part of norma basilis, median area, posterior nasal apertures are present. This is the posterior nasal aperture, and there is a posterior border of vomer bone. So if you are seeing that this is the margin of the vomer bone. So this is that which separates the two conches. Right and left conche are separated by the posterior border of the vomer bone is. Now next structure in a median area, broad bar of the bone. It is formed by continuation of inferior surface of body of sphenoid bone and basilar part of occipital bone. It extends up to the foramen magnum. A median elevation just in front of the foramen magnum is called pharyngeal tubercle. So this one is called pharyngeal tubercle. It is an elevation present just interior to that of the foramen magnum. Now comes to the middle part of a norma basilis, lateral area. In a lateral area, first structure is pterygoid processes. These are the pterygoid processes. So pterygoid processes are present immediately behind the posterior end of the alveolar arch. Pterygoid processes consist of lateral and medial pterygoid plates. Pterygoid plates unites anteriorly in the upper part to enclose a fossa called pterygoid fossa. So here is the fossa is present. That fossa is called pterygoid fossa. So this is the fossa called pterygoid fossa. These are the this is the medial pterygoid plate. This is the lateral pterygoid plate. So the middle part, lateral area. Second structure is foramen ovale. So it is a oval in a shape, so that it is called foramen ovale. This is the foramen ovale present. It transmits the mandibular nerve, accessory meningeal artery, lesser petrosal nerve, and imaginary vein. It is remembered by a mnemonic called MALE. M stands for mandibular nerve, A stands for accessory meningeal artery, L stands for lesser petrosal nerve, and E stands for imaginary vein. Middle part of norma basilis, lateral area. Next structure is foramen spinosum. So if you are seeing that this is the structure present. This used to call as foramen spinosum. It is present near the spine of the sphenoid bone. This is the spine of the sphenoid bone, and posterior lateral to foramen ovale. Here is the foramen ovale is present, and here is the foramen spinosum is present. It transmits the middle meningeal artery, nervus spinosus, meningeal branch of mandibular nerve, and parietal branch of middle meningeal vein. These structures are passing through the foramen spinosum. Middle part of norma basilis in a lateral area. Next structure is imaginary foramen or imaginary spinal foramen or foramen of Vesalius. It is an inconstant seam foramen between the scaphoid fossa and the foramen ovale. It transmits an imaginary vein which is connecting cavernous sinus with the pterygoid venous plexus. If this foramina is present, it is an inconstant, it is not always be vein. So next structure in our middle part, lateral area is, that is foramen lacerum. This is foramen lacerum. It is situated between the, this is the foramen lacerum present. It is situated between sphenoid and apex petrous part of the temporal bone. It is named lacerum. It is named lacerum because of its irregular margins are present. Carotid canal and pterygoid canal opens into it. Now comes to the posterior part of norma basilis view. This is the posterior part of a norma basilis view as well complete. The posterior part of norma basilis, this part can be divided into median area, that is a rounded area that you are seeing, and two lateral areas, that is a right lateral area and the left lateral area is. Median area consists of foramen magnum, it is a big foramen present in the center. There is the occipital crest, this is the occipital crest, and external occipital protuberance structure. So, posterior part of norma basilis view, median part, first structure is foramen magnum. This is the foramen magnum present. This is the structure that you are seeing. This is the big foramina is present. This big foramina is called foramen magnum. It is the largest foramen in the skull. It is a single foramen located in a lowest part of a posterior cranial fossa. It is a oval in a shape. It is communication between cranial cavity and the vertebral canal. The anterior atlanto-occipital membrane is attached to its anterior margin. This is the anterior margin. With this anterior margin, anterior atlanto-occipital membrane is found to be attached. With the posterior margin, posterior atlanto-occipital membrane is found to be attached. This is the posterior margin. With this posterior margin, posterior atlanto-occipital membrane is found to be attached. Lateral margin provides attachment to the alar ligaments. These are the lateral margins. These lateral margins used to provide attachment to alar ligament. Main structures passes through it is medulla oblongata, which is continuous downwards as a spinal cord with its meninges. Spinal root of accessory nerve. There are much more structures passes through it is that we will see in a separate topic. Next structure is in a median part, that is a external occipital protuberance. This is the external occipital protuberance area is there. Trapezius is attached to it superiorly and ligamentum nuchae is found to be attached inferiorly. Now, posterior part of norma basilis view, lateral part consists of following structures, that is occipital condyle. So, these two are the occipital condyles. Next is condylar fossa, which is present anteriorly. Then hypoglossal canal, that is also present anteriorly. Jugular foramen, this is the jugular foramen present. Styloid process, it is a broken part that used to be, seems to be present here. It is a broken structure is there. Mastoid process, this is the mastoid process. This is present structure. That is to call as the mastoid process. Then stylomastoid foramina. So it is a foramina which is present between styloid process. This is styloid process and this is a mastoid process. So here is a foramina is present. This foramen is called stylomastoid foramen. Next structure in the lateral part is occipital condyles. So these are the occipital condyles present. These are occipital condyles present. These are located lateral to the anterior half of foramen magnum. This is the foramen magnum structure is. Each is oval and convex, which is going to be articulated with concave superior articular processes of the atlas vertebra to form atlanto-occipital joint is. So next structure in a lateral part of posterior part of norma basilis is that is a hypoglossal canal. Lateral to anterior part of a condyle is the outer opening of the hypoglossal canal. So here is the hypoglossal canal. That arrow shows the hypoglossal canal. It transmits the hypoglossal nerve. Hypoglossal nerve is a 12th cranial nerve. It also transmits meningeal branch of ascending pharyngeal artery. It also transmits the imagery vein from the basilar venous plexus. So next structure in the lateral part is jugular foramen. This is the structure present that used to call as the jugular foramen. This is the jugular foramen. It is an intraosseous foramen situated between anterior margin of a jugular process of occipital bone and posterior margin of petrous part of a temporal bone at the petro-occipital suture. Specifically, there is a suture is present that is called petro-occipital suture is there. So this is the jugular foramen present. It is divided into anterior, middle and posterior part. That the middle part transmits 9th, 10th and 11th cranial nerve, passes through its middle part is. That anterior part, the inferior petrosal sinus and the meningeal branch of ascending pharyngeal artery passes through its anterior part is. Posterior part, sigmoid sinus and meningeal branch of occipital artery transverses through its posterior part is. So what we can say, anteriorly and posteriorly there is a vessels are passing, and from the center part or a middle part there is nerves are passing. Which nerves are passing? That is 9th, 10th and 11th cranial nerves are passes through this area. So next structure in a lateral part is, that is a styloid process. So this is the styloid process present, but it is a broken part present in this bony structure is. So what the styloid process is? It is a conical bony projection. It is a conical bony projection which is present just below the tympanic part of the temporal bone. It is directed downwards, forwards and slightly medially. It provides attachment to 3 muscles and 2 ligaments. Provides attachment to 3 muscles and 2 ligaments. So 3 muscles attached to it are styloglossus, which is present anteriorly, stylohyoid, which is present posteriorly, and stylopharyngeus, which is present medially. So that styloglossus means it used to be connects the styloid process with the tongue, styloid process to tongue, whereas the stylohyoid, it used to be connects the styloid process to the hyoid bone, whereas the stylopharyngeus, it goes from the styloid process to the pharynx. The 2 ligaments, stylomandibular ligament, which is present laterally, stylohyoid ligament, which is present at the tip between parotid gland laterally and internal jugular vein medially. So mastoid process, the structures that you are seeing, this is the one mastoid process, on the other side mastoid process. It is a prominent, it is a mastoid process are there. Mastoid process, it is a prominent projection from the temporal bone, posterolateral to the styloid process. This is the styloid process present here, and that is mastoid process is a posterolateral bony projection present. The medial aspect of this process shows a deep groove called digastric notch, which provides attachment to posterior belly of the digastric muscle. So next structure present in the lateral part is stylomastoid foramina, as word indicates, a foramina which is present between styloid process and the mastoid process. So this is the styloid process, this is a mastoid process in which there is a foramina is present. That foramen is called stylomastoid foramen. That facial nerve and stylomastoid artery passes through this foramina. Thanks. Thank you very much.